Hey there, YouTube. It's your boy Element Hero here, coming back at you with another first place Doflamingo deck profile. It was really fun to play this. I was a little nervous just because of just the green matchup, but I actually did really well. I'll go over it once I show the deck off. But yeah, let's just go ahead and just jump right into it, all right? So, first and foremost, we still have to run the best searcher in the deck for Perona. She's just way too good. Actually came up in the Zoro matchup to where when they rest their Namis after attacking, she just, forces them to discard or let her die. So definitely want to see her. This is a little bit of a change though. Last format I was running 3 Alvita. Like I said, most people try to run her at 4. I don't think she's that necessary, but she did come up in the Zoro matchup. She definitely makes them play around and try not to, you know, in my matchup against Zoro, like she definitely caused my opponent to play differently just because her effect to bounce back a 3 or lower puts in a lot of work. Um, I would like to bump her up, but this format is all about consistency. So I needed to play more 7 Warlord names just because red and green have such a high ceiling because of how consistent they can be with their searches. So I just had to bump her down, unfortunately. I would like to run her up just because of the Zoro matchup. But for now, at 2's been working really, really well. We'll see with like more tournaments going on, see if I need to bump her up or not. But for now, I think 2 is good. Then we run 4 of the blocker Dofis. Also, next best searcher. Puts in a lot of work, but the struggle is he most of the time he's always getting rested or killed off, which is a little unfortunate. But he does what he needs to do, which is stacking the deck to help you get better cards onto the field. And then I run 4 of the best 2K in the deck, obviously. In one of my matchups, he actually came up where I needed to bring him out onto the field. So his draw 2, discard 2 is relevant at times. But yeah, regardless, best 2K. Mostly just want to discard him and add him back to the hand. Then literally best card, always, for sure, to reveal off of Doflamingo. Teach, that bounce is just way too good. Regardless, you want to set your opponent back. Bouncing back that Okiku or bouncing back Robin, whoever, honestly. Just whatever seems to be a problem. It's not a problem anymore with him. And the best Gecko in the deck, you get back your blockers, or the most ideal is always to get back the Mihawk. But yeah, you have to run 4 of him, like absolutely mandatory. And then for a new addition for the deck, I'm running 4 of the vanilla Gecko Moria. Definitely puts in work against the Whitebeard matchup, just because he is 6K. As well as for the red decks, they have to commit more to try to kill him off unless they have the jet pistol, which is okay. I'm totally fine with them jet pistoling him, which happened in my last matchup against Zoro. Definitely got hit twice. Totally fine with that. And then this guy, obviously, honestly, just didn't really matter. There's another card that I'll show in a moment where you can replace and add 2 more of it, but it was here just kind of like his effect, like, is still relevant when you have a bunch of cards in your hand. Like, it's a threat that people just have to get rid of. Like any of the double damage guys and any of the other decks, like double damage still strikes fear in people. So honestly, it's debatable if I'm gonna keep him in here. But we'll see. We'll see. Then best blocker in the deck slash attacker. That draw came in so clutch against the green matchup. It's super like vital. Yeah, nothing else to say about her. And this is the card that I can replace and bump up to 4. Um, Her effect to draw and discard also came up pretty clutch in like 2 of my matches. So I could probably bump her up to 2 and drop down that Moria. We'll see what happens. And then running 2 of the new Dracula Mihawks. Yeah, you mostly just need him just against the green matchup. They set up. I know a lot of people are steering away from the 8-cost kid, but he's still a threat and a problem. And you can also just do it for, just have another 8-cost beater to beat over Odin. Regardless, like it's not bad for a 6-cost. It's okay. And then I know a lot of people are steering away from him, but I still like him. He still comes up. That just the bounce, like honestly, the be able to create some tempo for yourself by setting them back and you having another guy on field is just way too clutch. And it really came up in the green matchup. Any green matchup, he's really good. But at the tournament yesterday, he definitely put in the work. And then I know a lot of people want to run him, and max him out. I still have the belief of it's not that great to max him out. Sure, you don't want to give your opponent back the card to their hand. It's better to put it at the bottom of the deck. But the struggle is the 9 Dawn. This deck really needs its Dawn to be able to do more plays. So he's only good to really deal with annoying problems, or if you're about to get ready for a game, like you're setting up so that you can OTK the next turn. He's still a great bomb. But I think 2 is just fine. Then I run 4 of the Desert Spada. It's so clutch, off life, and regardless, it's a 2K counter, which is nice. So it basically replaces the Alvidas in hand, and just to stack your deck. It's super vital in this deck. Then 2 Overheat. I don't know if I want to replace this card or not. It didn't show up at all at the yesterday's tournament, but I mean it's still here. Honestly, just to put in some work. The returning of 3 costs, especially in this format, is way too good. So we'll see with further tournaments how this works out as well. But so far, it's just like in last format. It's just the bounces are just way too clutch. And then the best counter in the deck, obviously. You run 4 love beams, because there's nothing better than the love. But besides that, that is my deck profile. My matches were first round was against Ivankov. It wasn't. How can I say that? So that matchup is scary because of Luffy being able to bounce back your blockers. So in that, you just have to be super aggressive. Want to see your bouncers, like preferably, you do want to see 9 Mihawk and 7 Dofi, just to get rid of him so that you don't take that double damage. In that particular matchup, I drew pretty well, and my opponent didn't have the most optimal hand. So I ended off with still with the 4 life to his 0, and that's how I cleaned up the match. Then my second match was against Z. I went flawless with 5 to his 0, and then against Green, also went flawless, 5 life to his 0. Just because I was being super aggressive. I did not want him to set up at all. I was definitely just getting rid of Okiku. Just kept bouncing her back to the hand and then pushing damage. And then luckily I was able to open up my 2 7-drop Dofis, and I got to open up the 6-drop Mihawk. I just made sure that I kept the pressure. My opponent did end up summoning 8-cost Kid, but I had put so much pressure on him early on, with just focusing on attacking, and him having to deal with my board, to where um, I was able to just beat over it really, really easily. And then he did end up bringing out Odin, and I also got rid of that too. I didn't even focus on it. I just went straight for game, just because I had such tempo against them. And then my last match for round 4 was against Zoro, and almost went perfect against him too. But I was just running out of gas. I was going directly, like, against that deck. I had to be the aggressor, so I was going directly for life and letting the babies stay, which was, in hindsight, I could have tried to attempt to go for the little ones, but honestly, I just got to get a little bit more playing against the Zoro. But I think being the more aggressive person in that matchup is definitely better, and it definitely paid off. Like, I'm telling you, just summoning her made my opponent confused, and that helped him, like, hold back some of his 1-drops, because he knew I was just gonna bounce it back. Like, I don't care about discarding a card as long as I get to keep the tempo. So this hindered them, and started just playing, like, the drawers, making sure that I wouldn't bounce back their cards that give them pluses, so I wasn't bouncing their Namis or their Dodons. But any other card that they summoned was definitely going back into their hand. So yeah, just overall, it was really, really good. Felt super confident with the deck. And if you guys have any questions, or if you maybe have some better ideas on how to play this deck, leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear some feedback, but I really enjoyed how it played out. As you can tell from how I explained, like, I did really, really well against all my matchups. The Zoro was the closest one to where he, like, the round before, he cleared my whole board, and got me down in life to, like, 2 life, which was the closest. But because he had to put so much pressure onto me, didn't really have anything for the recovery, to where my leader just attacked for game next turn. Just put literally all 15 Dawn to finish the game off, because he had no blockers. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed the deck profile. Have a good one.